Welcome back to episode 23 of our expansion franchise series with the Nashville Stars. In the last episode, we were able to promote some of our younger guys to the starting rotation, not by choice, but by necessity. We've gone through a ton of injuries so far in this young season. First of all, we got Noblemeyer up here, who's had a good start so far in his 4 outings. He's not been too shabby, a sub 3.5 ERA, around a 1.4 whip, which is very, very good. He has 20 putouts and about the same amount of innings, and it's pretty exciting stuff. But the more exciting man, our very first draft pick, Kris Patton, has hit the MLB roster, and he has been shining exactly how we thought he would. His last outing against the Dodgers, he went 8 long, almost got a shutout, but he gave up a hit to Mookie Betts, and they took him out and came on to get the close. The ERA was a 0 there. The ERA for the season, sub 2. And he has 17 strikeouts and 22 or so innings of work with a sub 1 whip. And I'm very, very impressed with how he's been commanding himself up here in the majors. And hopefully he'll be with us for a long, long time. But in this episode, we're going to be looking to the future a little bit. We're going to be hitting the draft in a few weeks. So we still got some scouting to do. Still able to find a couple big names, hopefully, as we have the 7th pick in this year's draft, which we fell a lot in the lottery this last offseason. We went from like 3rd, I think, all the way down to 7th. It was one of the worst turnouts that we've seen. But before we get into any gameplay and the draft, I do want to showcase the deal we're going to make for the future of this organization. In the last episode, we covered a couple teams and a couple solutions that we could do to possibly make a change and improve the team. The first one is Steven Kwan. We looked at him. He's a good leadoff guy, can play left field, but he just doesn't have a ton of versatility around the organization. Right now, we have Stone Garrett in that left fielder spot, who's had a good year, batting around a 280, and he's not been too shabby. But I just think we would love a little bit more versatility, especially since Kwan has a $20 million price tag on him, and he seems to be regressing a little bit in his 6th year in the MLB. I don't want to see him lose a little bit of that allure and luster that he's having right now, and this may just be one of his best seasons. He looks to be putting up near career bests in every category. But the second guy we looked at and we think we're going to go with is Nolan Jones. He's on a little cold spell, but he's a good left fielder, can play first, third, and right field as well. He has amazing arm. He looks to have very good contact, very good discipline, and he's very clutch. And this year, he's having career year, a 577 slugging, a 983 OPS with 14 homers, only 6 off his career high, and it's not even the halfway point of the season. So we're going to try to work up a deal to see if we can bring him to Nashville. We have a ton of prospects in the pipeline that we would love to see in our big league rotation or our lineup, but we need to make a deal now so we can hopefully push into a wildcard spot and make the playoffs in our 4th season. And as we were working up a deal, we knew we were going to give away Vincent Theophanopoulos since the Rockies won some relief pitching, and he's one of the best prospects in all of baseball. I think he's a top 75 player in the league, so he's very, very good. He's only 20 years old, B potential, 72 overall, and it's going to be tough to see him go, but I think to make this deal, it's going to need to be made for him to be in it, for it to work. And they also added PJ Morlando. We knew we were giving Vincent away, but we went ahead and had them suggested who they wanted to receive back, and we were trying to find somebody. We would have traded Eduardo Tait to them because they needed a catcher, but he's injured right now, which seems like everybody in the organization is injured. But they selected PJ Morlando instead. And he's looked to have a decent year down in the minors, 22 years old, a 70 overall, C potential left fielder. And he's kind of behind a couple guys right now in our organization, so we don't really necessarily need him. So I think this is a great deal, and we're going to be making it. And we're going to be accepting this offer, and the Rockies will accept it. So we will be receiving one of the best hitters in the league currently, Nolan Jones, to the team. He will slot in as one of our top 10 players, and hopefully he can get off that cold spell and deliver some big moments with the team. So we're going to go ahead and jump in some player-like moments with him and see if we can produce here with this 320 average and his 14 homers, and see if we can give him a little bit of a boost coming into the new stripes. But before we get into some gameplay, I did want to go ahead and check out where they stand, our players stand in the batting average race. Luke Raley is in 2nd place. He's been an absolute gem this year, but Nolan Jones slots in as a top 5 player. So the Stars have 2 top 5 National League hitters in terms of batting average. So hopefully this will spur a big swing and push us further into that playoff conversation in the coming weeks. We'll be joining the team here against Milwaukee, as we will get a highlight of Nolan Jones in his very first game with the Nashville Stars. He's had an impressive season all season long, and we're hoping that he can continue that here in the Stars organization. But the first at bat will end up in an easy ground out to first. And even if he is only a one-year rental, which is probably what it's going to look like down the line, if he can push us to a spot where we can drive into some playoff games, that'd be really, really pivotal for the organization, especially since we have those limitations until we get to the playoffs that we need to get to so we can start getting better players. Second at bat, Nolan Jones will come up, has good timing, but flies out to shallow left center field. And the start of his Stars tenure hasn't gone off like we thought it would. He may have a little bit of yips moving to a new team and a new ballpark. It's always a little bit of a hit or miss how players will, translate development, especially coming from Colorado, where it's a very hitter-friendly ballpark, to a ballpark that's not so hitter-friendly, especially for lefties here in Nashville. It may be a tough transition, but he'll ground out for the second time today for his third out. 0 for 3 start. Get some decent wood on this one, but it'll fly out in center field, and that will be a 0 for 4 start for Nolan Jones, a top 5 hitter in the NL. It doesn't look like he's going to get out of that cold spell just yet. Fifth at bat, and that is a nice one. 96 off the bat, but just too much of a line drive. Almost hit too hard, too quickly into center field. And that will be an 0 for 5 start today for Nolan Jones in his first game. But advancing a couple days, we'll head to the next series in Washington on the road against the Nationals. We'll get a look around the league, some league news, and this is definitely one of the best implementations that SDS has put into the MLB The Show game. You can see your farm report, league news, different storylines, all this different stuff. Very, very interesting. But up now, first at bat against the Nationals, and this one doesn't have enough behind it. Out in front of it, drove it to right field, and that is an easy put out there by Dylan Cruz. But a nice hanging slurve will get tattooed up the middle, 98 off the bat, and that is Nolan Jones' first hit with the Stars, as we'll come up with this third at bat as we have gone down 2 runs on the road here. Jake Irvin still on the mound, 1 for 2 today for Jones, and this one goes the opposite way, but it doesn't stay fair. Not a bad hack at it, but jumping in ahead in the count, 3-2. This one into the gap, but it looks like it's going to hang up too much. Just too much launch elevation there. Just needs to get that more level playing bat with it, drive it into the gap, more of a line drive rather than getting under it. Fourth at bat today, Brusar Graterol, a former Dodger, will end up here ending the at bat, his fourth at bat. Again, a bunch of decent hacks, just hasn't really been able to keep that ball down and on the plane with the barrel head, just getting under it too far. We'll jump ahead against the Giants, a former in-division foe for Jones, as he'll jump into the field with a nice moment here, as he's going to gun it to second, and it'll be just too late, just a second late. Jones has an impressive arm out there in left field, so he can surprise some batters or runners and hopefully tag them out and stretching a single into a double. Jones this time, another unfortunate swing, got jammed too far in on the hands, wasn't able to keep those hands in close to his body, as Jones has dropped down to an under 290 average after starting with the series, or starting with the Stars with the 320. But this time he'll get a hit here in his third AB, 99 off the bat up the middle to get a single here, as he'll get a chance to round third and go home for his first run as a member of the Stars to bring this game back within 4, as the Stars get another one. Jones is going to get his second hit of the day, perfectly timed, straight up the middle off of Tristan Beck. A 2 for 3 start today against the Giants, and a familiar ballpark to him. He seems like he's getting a little bit more comfortable up there at the plate, as the game will go 7-11. Bart hits a solo shot to give us another run, and Jones, for the third time today, up the middle. This one, a little bit of a lousy bloop hit into center field, falls right in front of that center fielder for his third hit today. And we'll get a look here at the end of the game. A ground out to shortstop will end it here. An impressive offensive showcase. No offense or no defense whatsoever was really given up. The boys will have 43 at-bats, 15 hits. They had 4 more hits than the Giants, but weren't able to get the run support they needed to take the win. The Giants only had 33 at-bats. They were hitting 333 today, and their plate appearances were able to put up 11 runs as well. But moving on to another in-division foe for our former in-division foe for Nolan Jones, the Diamondbacks will be on the road taking our West Coast tour. And the first at-bat will get a walk for Jones as he gets up to 298 average. But jumping here to the later parts of the game, he'll go 0 for 3, dropping his average back down into the 280s. Another fielding opportunity here as Corbin Carroll is rounding first. And he'll get gunned at second. And you can see there the highlight of his arm. He's got a very impressive cannon out there in left. And again, we'll be able to sneak on some guys and be able to throw them out at second. But Jones here, another single. The fourth one of the showcase hasn't shown a lot of power, but has been able to continue to keep that average floating around that 290 mark, which is still very, very impressive. But we were hoping he could showcase some power here as he'll snag a steal here. The not so fleet-footed left fielder will notch his 11th on the season. As Eggy Rosario will go into right field as Nolan Jones is going to be rounding third. A play at the plate. And it'll be too slow as we will get the first run of the game on a nice run there by Eggy Rosario. Over the second baseman, we'll get another single, the 5th one of the showcase. He has been a single machine. That OPS is sitting around, what, 1 or 800 or whatever it is. But this time, he will take that slider deep down the right field line, but it will go foul, 105 off the bat. So he can be a powerful batter, but he just hasn't really showcased it as we get yet another single. But a second 3-hit day for Nolan Jones has been a very impressive showcasing after that first game against the Brewers where he went 0 for in his 5 plate appearances. Another chance to steal in the dirt. It's going to be a no throw, or will be a throw, but it's going to be way late as he will notch his second steal of the game. 3 singles, 2 steals of the game as the boys are up 9-0, absolutely destroying the Diamondbacks. And this time, Jones won't get the one to sneak through the infield for a 4th single. A nice hit, 99 miles per hour, but it just doesn't come up. But as we get out of this showcase with Nolan Jones, we'll be stepping into the draft. But before that, we'll see that we have fallen to the last in the division. We have been on a massive skid, 4-6 in the last 10. It just hasn't been going our way. But we do get Edward Cabrera and Reed Detmers back from injury. We're going to send, or at least try to send, Reed Detmers down to the AAA ranks because Kris Patton has been dominant up here at the majors. The win-loss isn't the greatest, but he has a sub-4 ERA, a whip right around 1.4, and has been very, very good out of the starting rotation. So we're going to keep him up here, but we are going to put Noble Meyer back to the minors. He just didn't have that good of stats, almost a 7 ERA, and just hasn't been working out. His last few starts just haven't been that good, and he's started to skid and cool down. So we're going to move him back down to the minors and see if he may be a trade piece down the line. So with us being in last place in the division, the second half of the season may go a lot quicker since we're probably not going to be in contention for a wild card spot. So we're going to go ahead and hit up this draft and see if we can get a couple good pieces to add to our already good prospect repertoire. And off the top, we'll notice there's a ton of decent fielding talent up here at the top of the draft. We've been going back and forth about getting a fielder, especially at shortstop, to kind of fill in for David Hamilton down the line. We also need some catching. We're the 30th team ranked in catching in the MLB, so we're going to try to fill some of that spots as well. And there's also some top pitching talent that we want to look at maybe later in the draft. So if we can fill at least the shortstop position and the catcher position, which is our 2 worst in terms of MLB rank, and also get a starting pitcher down the line in the draft, we'll be very, very happy. So let's go ahead and fill out our board, and we'll get straight into round 1. And starting us off will be the Los Angeles Angels as they moved up in the offseason, and they will grab Javier Diaz, who we had slated as the 4th pick off the board. He's a switch batter. He's a second baseman, or he's a shortstop that can play all the positions in the field. Infield. He's a 18-year-old coming out of high school. Looks to be very, very good. The overall is going to be a little lower than what you would see typically for a first-round draft pick, but a lot of the guys up at the top of the board, they were all starting pitchers. They fell a lot into the later rounds. So this is a decent pickup. We thought about getting him. So the Angels got a very, very good shortstop, even though they got a shortstop. No, that was the Nationals that got a shortstop last year. But Barry Pierce will be the second player off the board. The center fielder graded out as a 18th for us, 27 for MLB, but they will go down deep into the ranks to grab him as their second overall pick. The 21-year-old is a righty both ways in the field and in the batter's box. He's a 4-year junior out of college. He looks to be pretty good, but we don't have him scouted very highly. So maybe the Blue Jays know something that the rest of us don't. But moving into the third pick, we have the Rockies, who've been in the top 3, I think, every season so far in this franchise. They'll grab a left fielder after we just got Nolan Jones from them. Carlos Benitez is going to be going to Colorado for the next few seasons. The potential looks good, so does the overall, but again, we haven't seen much since we didn't scout him very highly. So let's go ahead and jump ahead into our draft pick and see what happens. So the Rangers are going to pick up Jose Garcia, another shortstop, another guy we had our eye on at the 4 slot. He looks to be very, very good at good contact against righties, very serviceable against lefties, powers good against righties as well, very strong in the field and has decent speed as well. Looks to be a very high B to A potential range and decent overall. Let's look at Javier Diaz, another solid shortstop that we looked at earlier. We were looking at him. We'll love to see if we got a switch batter. That would have been great. Tyrell Collum, a starting pitcher who we had as the 25th draft pick, but the MLB had him as a second. He will go all the way down to the 5 slot. Looks to be very good, has very good pitches, has a ton of pitches. His repertoire is very nice, and he will be going to the Nationals after they picked up a massive shortstop last year. And then the White Sox pick up a pitcher, another decent pull, but he fell from first to 34 on our board. He has 4 pitches to work with. Doesn't look that bad. I'm not sure why he fell so much. We scouted him 100%, but he looks pretty decent. The potential, I guess, is the big kicker there. So let's go ahead and look at the top prospects that we have. Tyler Brady is the number 1 on our board. We had him slotted as a number 1 draft pick by our standards. He was 5th overall. And he looks to be very good, a very contact-focused, bat-to-ball type of player. He has very decent feeling, and he's going to be a decently fast guy as well. And I think we're going to settle with him. He's 18 years old, 6 foot tall. He's going to work well in that shortstop position. The other option we have is Eloy Ferreira, and he looks to be okay as well. We have him as number 2 on our big board, but he just doesn't have the bat-to-ball skills that we see in Brady. So I just don't think it's going to be that great of a pick. He's a faster player, probably a little bit better fielding as well, but I think we want a better bat in the shortstop position. We already have David Hamilton, who's a decent fielder, so I think we're going to settle with drafting Tyler Brady as our 7th pick, the first-round pick for us, and hopefully we'll be able to sign him going into this year. He can also play second base and third base, so very, very good versatility over there at shortstop. But as we get to our second pick, you can see we did a little bit of something different. Instead of going highly into a few picks, we kind of spread it more over the long haul and kind of gave more guys more looks, just to get a little better view into some of these guys and see if we can get a steal here and there. And one of the guys we're going to look at to get a steal is going to be John Rangel. He looks to be very good. He's projected to go 22nd, but we're at the 42nd pick right now, and he hasn't been picked up. He has 4 pitch mix of 4-seam, cutter, sinker, curveball. Would probably switch maybe that sinker to a circle change at some point down the line, but he looks to be very good, grades out very well. He's from the Netherlands, interesting enough. His stamina is good, strikes per 9 is good as well. Would love to see a little bit more velocity, but I think he'll be fine if he sits mid-90s with that 4-seamer and has some good movement. So we're going to pick him up as our second pick of this year's draft. Our next pick will be a compensation pick in the second round, so we'll be picking 68th. For this one. This one, I think we're going to go after a catcher. We can switch over here and see the catchers that we have available. Edmund Trout is the only one that we have scouted on the board. We have him 31% scouted. He's a switch batter. He grades out to be a really good defender, but doesn't have the greatest ability in the batter's box. I don't think that's the end of the world, though. I think if he gets to, 70-something contact, 60-something power, and is a really good fielder, he'll be very useful down the line. So this is who we're going to pick. I think he is probably our best choice now. Obviously, we can get a pitcher, but I would love to get another top catcher because we need one. He's probably not going to be the biggest payoff down the road. We'll probably have to sign one in free agency, but getting one regardless just to strengthen our depth there will be a good thing down the line. And then for our fourth pick at number 82, we have a choice between two pitchers. Abraham Feliciano and Steven Thomas, both of here are not ranked on MLB's rankings, so we have a little bit of a secret here, and we might be able to get a little bit of a steal in this draft. Abraham looks to be very good out of the Dominican Republic, has a two-seamer. Again, we don't love those, and his velocity is a little low, but his potential is really high, so if we get him and he does good, maybe he can develop that velocity to be a little better. And then Thomas, we don't have enough time to talk about Thomas, so we're going to pick up Abraham since we only had a minute. Hopefully Thomas will be there for our next pick. If he is, I think we'll get two big gets out of this draft, but we'll have to wait and see. And as we move in, Thomas is there. He will be there, so we'll go ahead and pick him up as well. He looks to grade out very good stamina, a little bit more velocity, a four-seamer slider curveball changeup mix. I love that mix a lot. So he's hopefully going to be a very good pick for us down the line. And as we get into the later rounds, I always love to just get some relief pitchers to add some more depth. Ethan Hutchinson looks to be very good. He has a 4-pitch mix, can get up into the high 90s, 97-ish or so on his fastballs. So we're going to pick him up and hopefully turns out to be somebody decent down the line. If not, it's not a wasted pick. He'll add provided depth for our bullpens down in the minors. And then with our last pick, we have Frederick Lamb. He's a hidden draft slot as well, but he doesn't have very good stats pretty much anywhere. He's pretty fast and has decent fielding, but in the batter's box, he is abysmal. But we're going to pick him up regardless just because he's not going to be picked up by anybody else. And we kind of just were able to find him through discovery. So we're going to pick him up there. I don't think we're really missing out on anybody. If you look at our scouted, there's not really anybody with a ton of potential that we need to pick up. So picking up him here may provide a little benefit, and we may get lucky. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see in next episode. That'll be our last pick here in the 2028 draft. And as we're getting into the All-Star break, the Astros have picked up Reed Detmers off of waivers. I think he only had a few days left, but unfortunately he will get picked up. But as we get into the All-Star weekend, we have another home run derby where it doesn't feature a star player. We are making some adjustments to our stadium over the offseason, so hopefully that will provide some of our lefty batters a little bit more home run capability. But looking here, you can see the lineup. The AL leads with the top 4 home run hitters, and Brandon Lau, Brent Rooker, Corey Seager, and Yordan Alvarez, 2 Ranger players up here at the top. And then Brandon Nimmo, Anthony Santander, Fernando Tatis Jr., and Pete Alonso will round it out. So let's go ahead and jump in and see who takes it home as he ties it up with 2 outs remaining. Does it go to a bonus round? It does not. Corey Seager will take it home at his home ballpark for the 2028 Home Run Derby champion. But as we get out of the Home Run Derby, we'll take a chance look at Pete Fairbanks. He'll be facing Dalton Rushing, who actually just got caught up in real life to the Dodgers Major League team, but he will get sat down there with a nice slider inside on the knees from Fairbanks. Fairbanks is our only All-Star for this season in 2028. He's been very mediocre, probably you would call it, out of the bullpen, but most of it probably comes from the fact that we can't get him into a situation where he can get a ton of saves, as he will allow back-to-back hits here, 2 singles from the top 2 men in the order, as they are threatening to break the tie here, 3-3, but the fastball up at 97 in the top right of the zone will sit down to Manuel Rodriguez. But one of the scariest bats in all of the show, Aaron Judge, will swing through that 98-mile-per-hour heater. 2 on. He'll take the circle change at the knees, looking as Fairbanks is fired up after he was able to get out of that little jam here in the bottom of the 8th. As we'll advance through the rest of this game, we'll go back and forth, but the NL will lose to the AL as Schwarber hits a RBI single. But after getting out of that All-Star game, we'll get into the Future Stars game now. We have Eduardo Gomez as one of our guys here. He's been having a decent year down in the AA ranks. A sub-4 ERA, 85 innings of work, 66 strikeouts, and a 1.28 whip. So he won't get the start today, but he'll get some work hopefully down the line. And we also have 2 batters here. We don't have Ray McAllister, but we have Johnny Dale, who's hit a little bit of a cold streak. He's been pretty much on a cold streak all season. Hasn't really been able to get anything going. a 224 average, a 319 slugging, which is good for a 611 OPS, just not good enough for a guy that's ranked 77 overall. And we also have Joe Mack, a surprising entry here at catcher. He's been all right as well. Not as good as you would think to be here. I think there's definitely some players down in the minors who have had a better season, but we'll have 3 guys this season. I would love to see Ray McAllister get a nod, and also Kris Patton, but he got called up, so understandably he's not going to be here. So let's go ahead and jump into it and see if we can get some good highlights with some of our guys. But before we do that, Maxwell Monreal, a draft pick from last year, 89 overall, a potential 21-year-old. He just got moved up to AA. He's in his 3rd game, and he's already made the future Stars game, man. He's at 300, 814 LPS. He doesn't have a homer yet, but he's only had 10 at-bats, so, it's not the end of the world. He's going to be a great player. He's going to be at shortstop probably for the Nationals, but they have CJ Abrams there, and he was all-star this year, so maybe not. Maybe he'll move to another position, but it doesn't matter where they play him. He's going to play for a long time. He's going to be very, very good. But after seeing Maxwell Monreal in the pre-game menu, it inspired me to take a couple hacks with him, and this first one was an absolute bomb. 110 off the bat to opposite field, 434 feet, and he is going to be a very, very scary player when he gets up to the majors. I mean, that was the first time I've ever touched with him, and he went yard. It was one of the smoothest swings I've seen on the game. But Johnny Dell will be up next, and I just don't think that we've been able to kind of get a guy like this. He came into the league, I think, as like an 86 overall, 8 potential. He was a first-round draft pick from last season, and he is going to be an exceptional player down the line. Very scary, especially since he's in the division. We'll have to play him a ton. But Johnny Dell up second after Monreal. He will strike out on the slider at the knees. Second at bat for Dell. Same outcome as the first one. This time on a changeup below the zone. But we'll take another look with Monreal. He goes 116 off the bat into a double play. But he just has absolutely amazing raw power. He showcased it there a few times in this outing. Johnny Dell, though, third at bat of the game, he'll get a hit. I'm not sure if we can classify that as a great hit, but it is rolled a base hit nonetheless, so he will not go hitless today. And Eduardo Gomez will get a chance with him later in the 7th inning. First at bat, strikeout. Perfect up top, outside the zone a little bit, wasn't able to get to it. Second one, cutter, a little bit in the middle of the zone, don't want to live there, but it surprised the batter regardless, and he'll strike him out. Back-to-back strikeouts, and he goes for a third with the changeup at the knees as Albrecht was 100% fooled, and we'll get out of this game as the youngsters, the National League, will take the win here, which may mean bad things for us down the line, but that'll be to be seen. But I appreciate y'all tuning in. I hope y'all enjoy today. I hope y'all like the coverage of, the future stars, all-stars, whatever it may be. And I hope to see y'all in the next episodes and future episodes down the line. So be sure to subscribe down below so you never miss a video. And I'll catch you all in the next one. And a huge shout out to Chris, our very first premium channel member. Thanks for all your support, man. It's really appreciated.